Hi, this is Kumaran. I'm going to explain about architecture of 8086 microprocessor. In this lecture series, already I have given introduction and 86 simulation software working, so you can watch those also. Let us continue this architecture of 8086 microprocessor. In any microprocessor or any IC, if you are seeing that cross section means if you are cutting the surface of that IC, if you are looking inside, you make a see like this. We may not get any useful information in this. It is because lot of transistors are connected together to fabricate in a single IC. In terms of millions, transistors are connected nowadays in a single IC. So here it shows that only the silicon wafer thing. You cannot get any useful information, but it looks like these are all port pins. The pin means which will have interaction to the external world through this path. It's a conducting wire actually. It is connected to the internal circuit. That's what you can get it. So let's move on to the block diagram or architecture of 86 microprocessor. This kind of diagrams will give you the functional overview, how the IC is performing internally. It is not exactly the data is flowing through this diagram shows. It is it is useful to understand how an IC is working in 86. Any IC, the block diagram will give you that functional representation or functional overview how an IC is functioning. So for any user, we have to understand the working of that IC. Then only we can use that IC effectively. That's why we are learning this block diagram or architecture of 86 microprocessor. In 86 microprocessor, we have two functional units. One is bus interface unit, which is given here the dotted line. This, then the execution unit, the remaining part of the IC. So these two are functional units which are working parallelly. Both will work parallelly to get the maximum output from the microprocessor. The 86 microprocessor is a 16-bit microprocessor. 16-bit means at a time it can handle that two 16-bit numbers. Otherwise, it will perform that arithmetic and logic operations of two 16-bit numbers. That's what it refers that 16-bit processor. The ALU size is here 16-bit. So at a time it can take up two 16-bit data, process arithmetic and logic functions, write the result depends upon the instruction which has written here. So let us discuss about each and every block individually. The bus interface unit. The function of the bus interface unit is to identify a memory location of an instruction and copy the instruction placing onto the instruction queue. That's what the function of BAU. It will identify a, an instruction from memory and copy the instruction and place into the queue. This process is called fetching an instruction from memory and placing the instruction in the instruction queue. So let us discuss in detail about the BIU now. The BIU has that there is a summer or arithmetic unit, which means it will perform the arithmetic functions which are specified only this. It is not the general purpose ALU. It is specifically used for the address calculation purpose. As you know that the 86 has 20 address lines externally. The physical address here out of the IC are 20 address lines A02, A19. But the microprocessor internally, all the registers, segment registers, IP register, all are 16-bit wide. So we need to have a mechanism to convert from 16-bit logical address into 20-bit physical address. So for that purpose, this summer is used here. The physical address calculation formula is segment into 10 plus offset. Here the segment means in 86 we can 86 the memory is divided into four segment: code segment, stack segment, data segment, extra segment. So these four segments will hold the corresponding datas. For example, code segment means it will hold the program. Whatever the program we are writing, that will be stored on the code segment memory. Stack segment is used to handle the uh, address transitions for push and pop instructions, as well as subroutine handling. The stack segment is used. Then the data segment is used to hold the data temporarily. Then the extra segment, you can use the extra segment for all the functions. So totally 16 segments possible out of 1 megabyte memory, which is capacity of 86. So 16 segments at a time, 4 segments we can use. 4 segments, data segment, the data, stack and extra. So here the segment register will provide the starting address of the segment. Each segment 64 kilobit wide, 64K wide. In the 64K wide, the starting address is given by the segment register in this 4 register. Then the offset means the offset is also a 16-bit address, which is used to find out the physical address based on runtime calculations. For example, when we are going to fetch next instruction in memory, the instruction pointer will provide the offset address. Instruction pointer will provide the offset address. So with the help of code segment and instruction pointer, we will find out 20-bit physical address. For example, we will take a small example. For example, the instruction pointer is having that 3C8A. So this is the offset address. Then the code segment is having that 223B, for example. So this is the address. We assume this 223B is the code segment starting address. IP instruction pointer giving the offset address of 3C8A. Let us find the physical address here. Segment register into 10. The physical address equal to segment into 10. Segment already you know this 223B into 10 means 10 will be there. Here, that's it. 223B into 10 means the 0 added after. Now we have to add this IP. IP is 3C8A. So add now A plus 0 is A, B plus 8. B plus 8 actually B is 11. 11 plus 8 is 19. So when we divide 19 by 16 in X, because all are X calculation only in microprocessor, all are binary in terms of X. So it is 1, 3. So here 3, here 1. So 3 plus 1 4, C plus 4, C is 12, 12 plus 4 16, 16 means just 1 0. So here 0, here 1, now it is 6, 2. So this is the new physical address for the next instruction. The current starting address of the segment is 223B. Instruction pointer giving that 3C8A. Multiply the CX into 10, add the IP, that will be the new physical address 2603A. So that will be the address value given to the 20-bit physical address that will point out the memory, fetch an instruction, placing on the queue. That's what we'll do here. So next we'll come to the instruction queue. Instruction queue means which is the first in first out queue, just like a pipeline here to hold the instruction temporarily. If the size of the instruction queue is 6 byte, at a time it can hold that 6 byte of instructions, not 6 instructions, 6 byte, because every instruction will differ the size. One instruction may be 1 byte, then up to 4 bytes. 86 will have from 1 byte to 4 byte. So the instruction sizes depends upon what kind of instruction we are writing. Then for every 2 byte is taken by the execution unit. The next 2 bytes will be fetched and placed by the bus interface unit. So always instruction queue will be filled. So if the instructions are available in queue, then the easy for execution unit take the instruction and decode, execute. So to speed up the process, we are using two functional units, bus interface unit and execution unit. Both will work parallelly. That's what the advantage of in this. So that's all about a bus interface unit. Let us move on to the execution unit now. The execution unit contains an ALU, arithmetic and logic unit, which is a 16-bit wide, can take up to 16-bit numbers, perform arithmetic and logic functions. Then the result is updated on the corresponding register as well as update the flags also. Flag means it is the indication of result, status of the current result. For example, whether carry occurs or not, auxiliary carry, parity, sign 0. So everything we will discuss about in detail further classes. So as of now, flag means it's a current status of ALU result. The previous ALU result is updated on the register. Status of the result is updated on the flags. Now let us come to the register section, which is most important here. We have four general purpose registers: AX, BX, CX, and DX. All are 16-bit wide register. X refers here, it is 16-bit. Suppose if you want to perform any 8-bit operation, that also possible, because the maximum size of ALU is 16-bit. In that we can perform 8-bit also. So whenever we are performing 8-bit arithmetic and logic operations, that time we will use the name of the register ALAH, BLBH, CLCH, and DLDH. Likewise we will use. So apart from this, general purpose means we will use the register to hold the data temporarily and to perform ALU. For example, you can write an instruction like subtract CX comma DX. So CX minus DX result on CX. So that's the way we can write. We can use all the registers to hold data temporarily and perform ALU and get the result also on the same registers. That's what general purpose register we can use. Then apart from the general purpose, we have a specific name also. AX means accumulator. Accumulator in the sense when we perform arithmetic operations like multiplication and division, the AX will hold the result. AX will hold the result. So that's why it is called accumulator. For example, we'll use multiplication BX. So multiplication BX means AX into BX, the result on DX and AX. Because when we multiply to 16-bit number, the answer you may get 32-bit. That's why the answer will be loaded into two registers. Here, see, we are not using AX here because the AX is a default operand when we use multiplication and division. So multiply BX means AX into BX. So here the functions will be performed that AX multiply by BX. When we perform 16-bit, we may get answer in 32-bit size. So the answer stored in the format of DX AX. AX lower word, DX higher word. The same way for division also. Division BX means DX AX divided by BX, quotient on AX, remainder on DX. Likewise we will have. So that's why accumulator AX is called accumulator. It holds the results. It holds the one of the data for specific operations. DX is called a data register, which will be used to hold the answer for multiplication as well as division. So here, see, in this register we are not at all using DX, but for the result we have to refer DX only for multiplication and division. That's why we are calling this as a data register also. Then the BX register we are using as a base index addressing mode. We have different addressing modes. In that base addressing mode, that time the BX will hold the address of the data for indirect addressing. Then the CX name is called count register, which will hold the count of a repeated function. For example, we are copying a string of 100 bytes from let me clear the screen. I will explain it in detail. For example, I have to load the data from memory location of 3000 to 6000. In 3000, I have 100 bytes. For example, here let us start with the 1A, B3, C7, like 100 data are available here. So I want to copy this 100 bytes from 3000 memory location to the 6000 memory location. So that my task. So when we perform like this, how many bytes I want to copy? 100 bytes. That time the CX to be loaded with 100 in terms of hexadecimal is 64. That to be loaded because the count register will hold the number of repeated functions here. See the address and all where it will be loaded here. This address to be loaded on the source index SI. We have two index register here, source index and the destination index. The instruction what we'll use here, move string byte, move string byte, which means the CX to be loaded 64, SI to be loaded 3000, DI to be 6000. I have to load this string byte. So which means it will refer the source index, take one data, copy into destination index and refer the CX. CX is not 0. So again it will go to the next data B3, copy from 3001, paste it into the 6001. So likewise it will repeat 100 times by decrementing the CX1 for every instruction execution. So if CX0 means it will come out of the loop. So it will move on to the next instruction. That's where the source index and destination index are useful when we perform string related functions as scan string, copy string, then the add string, subtract string. Likewise we can perform. That's where these two are useful. The CX also useful here. Then we have point register. So stack pointer and base pointer. The stack pointer will provide offset address when we access stack segment. Stack segment will provide the starting address. Stack pointer will provide the offset address when we use push and pop instructions. So when we use push and pop, the stack pointer will provide the offset address. Stack segment will provide the starting address. Then we have base pointer. Base pointer is also one of the 16-bit register which will be used to hold the address while base addressing mode. So this addressing mode we will discuss in further classes. So that's all about 86 microprocessor block diagram or addressing mode. Just I will summarize now. Functionally we have two blocks. One is bus interface unit, another one is execution unit. The function of BIU is identifying address of an instruction physically from external memory, copy those instructions, placing on the instruction queue, which is a 6-byte size. The function of execution unit is copy one instruction from instruction queue, decode that instruction. Decoding means to understand the real meaning of the instruction, because memory will give you only opcodes in terms of binary number. That to be decoded what function it has. For example, move SB. For that also we have opcode. So that opcode will have binary numbers. For example, 6C. This is not exactly. For example, I am saying giving here 6C is an opcode. For example, you assume 6C means it is stored in binary 0 1 0, 1 is 6, C means 1, 1, 0, 0. So this is the number we will get from memory. So that number is available on instruction queue. So when this number comes from instruction queue, the processor has to understand that it is move of string byte. It will perform uh, check the CX, take the data from SI to paste into the DI address and decrement CX. So all the functions it has to perform only for this binary number. That's where the function of execution unit. So the bus interface unit fetching an instruction, execution unit decoding the instruction and executing the instruction. That's about 86 microprocessor. I hope that it is clear. If you have any doubts, you can comment on the video. I will clarify you. Here the control unit. The control unit is a circuit which will enable or disable all other blocks in the circuit. Because for example, if you are adding AX and BX means it has to enable AX to copy data from AX to the ALU, enable the BX to copy data to another input of ALU, then enable the ALU to perform addition, then the result to be written on the AX again, it will enable the AX because all are electronic circuits like flip-flops. So that has to be enabled or disabled. Then only the circuit will perform correctly. That's where the function of control unit lies in this circuit. So I hope it is clear. Thank you for patience of listening.